Okay, it's my honor again to present this paper on behalf of my colleagues. So this is the GhostShot. So we manipulate the image of CCD cameras with EMI signals. So first of all, a brief introduction of the CCD cameras. The CCD cameras stands for charge-coupled device. It has been used widely in different areas, and it plays a key role in the decision-making of many intelligent systems such as fire detection, night vision, barcode scanning, or medical diagnosis. There have been some previous attacks on the cameras. For example, we can inject laser signals, acoustic signals, and intentional EMI signals in order to manipulate the images generated by these cameras. For example, we may blur it, or we may add some rolling colors or glitch patterns. Recently, there is an attack that can achieve the more fine-grained manipulation of the CCD cameras, so they can add grayscale images in the dark environment, which inspires us to explore furthermore, is it possible to, in the real world, under normal lighting conditions, to inject colorful patterns into the images, and what are the limits of the attacker's capability and the potential harm? So the research question is actually, can we inject arbitrary, colorful patterns in any ambient light conditions into the image captured by CCD cameras? Okay, so if this attack is made true, what can we do? So, for example, we gave 3 examples: the night vision detection and so on. And these are the images captured after our attack. For example, we may inject false cars or malicious barcode or even an artificial fire. So, how to achieve this? First, let's exploit the workflow of the CCD camera by looking at its sensor. This sensor composes photodiodes, shift registers, and an ADC component. So usually we will have color filter on the photodiodes, so each diode only receive a certain color in RGB. So when the light comes, actually the photodiodes will transform the light into the charge, electric charge, and then the shift registers will read those charges row by row, and finally they will be input to the digital and analog part of this camera in order to transform into an image. So during this process, the signal charge will be read out in order. So this may give us the chance in order to inject some EMI signals in order to interfere with this process. Okay, and especially the ADC part is an analog part, and this one is easily manipulated by the EMI signals. So to test the feasibility of this attack, we conducted preliminary experiments. We sweep the frequency, and we show that when different frequencies of EMI signals are injected, we may induce different stripes or different scale of grays. And we also add try some unmodulated signals, and we are able to induce even the colors into those stripes. First of all, we want to explain why this happens. How can we induce such changes using the EMI signals? So this is due to the aliasing effect. So the signal, the analog signal, will be sampled and aliased so that we may use we may affect this process in order to induce different colors and different forms. So you can see that when the alias frequency is has different relationship with frequency of the sampling frequency, we will get different forms. And how do we generate color? How do we generate color? So if the F in has induced a synchronization between the RGB channels, actually the combination of these channels will be a black and white image. And however, if we kind of induce asynchronized sampling between the RGB channels, we will be able to induce different colors. Okay, so after that kind of reasoning, let's look at how to control the morphology, the brightness, and the color of the injected images by manipulating our EMI signals. So for morphology, actually, we use the amplitude modulation. So we just modulate the amplitude of different rows, and in combination, they will generate different morphologies. And also we can alter the frequency of the carrier frequency in order to make the patterns clearer. The second one is how to control the brightness. Actually, we use phase shift. We affect the phase of the signals in order to induce different brightness of the injected images. And finally, how to control the color of the injection. Actually, we show that we can use the amplitude modulation along with the phase modulation in order to generate different colors. And for more details, please consult the paper for more details. So the result is that we can generate colorful images. Okay, so overall, our attack includes the image pre-processing. So first of all, we have a target image. We will pre-process that to decompose that into different components, and then we will generate the EMI signals that is useful to inject those images. And finally, we just kind of generate that signal, and it results in the injected photos in the CCD camera. Okay, so some evaluations. So we have evaluated 15 CCD cameras, including analog one and digital ones, and we all achieve the successful injection. And we have evaluated the impact of distance and angles and the ambient brightness. We have conducted some case studies. So the first one is the medical diagnosis, and we show that using these EMI attack to affect the CCD camera, we may produce creation attack and hiding attack and mislead the detection algorithm into misdetection. And the second one is the fire detection, and we can also see we can inject artificial files, and we may inject a malicious barcode, and we may inject some human or cars into the night vision cameras. Okay, so then we actually ask some users to look at the photos generated by the CCD camera after our attack, and we receive some good results to confirm that if a user is monitoring the CCD camera, he or she may not detect that there is something weird happening. Okay, so if you are interested, you may look at this demo find our website. Okay, so for possible countermeasures, we think maybe we may shield the CCD cameras, we may apply the low-pass filters, and we may apply some image forgery detection. And in conclusion, in here we explore the possibility of inject arbitrary monochrome or color images through intentional EMI to the CCD cameras, and our attack is effective with 15 CCD cameras, and we propose potential hardware and software methods to defend against such attack. And you see us again. Okay, I may take some simple questions. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
So my question is, do we need synchronization when conducting an attack, for example, to control the color or something?
Actually, I think that because the attack signal is generated by the attacker, him or herself, so there is no synchronization issues. Maybe there is a synchronization issue between the attack signal and the victim sensor.
Yeah.
You may redirect that question to the others. Yeah, I may not be able to answer that question. Sorry.
So I've got another simple question.
Sure.
So what's the main difference when we conducting EMI attack on a CCD camera versus CMOS camera? Like,
Wow,
which
that is
usually
not a simple question. So you may you may redirect that one to the others as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question on how the attack works. Is it necessary that the attacker needs to know, like, where to position the image it's injecting? Is that important or relevant?
Yeah, it is. It is because you see that we have a image pre-processing process. So sorry, it does not. Oh, sorry, it does not work. So here. So the image pre-processing, actually during this process, we need to carefully compute, for example, the location of the injected images and something like that.
But how do you know the position to where you're supposed to position that image? Where do you get that information from?
Prior knowledge.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. I have some help here. Great. Yeah. Maybe. Great. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Any other
Okay.
question? Okay, then let's thank the speaker again. Yeah.